And welcome back. Well, how do you spell relief? A lot of people pop tablets or pills to soothe heartburn.
Our next guest, though, says you can relieve it naturally if you know what causes it. Maria Weil is a certified holistic health practitioner and nutritionist. She is here with a few ways to tame acid reflux and heartburn. And for the purposes of this, we're sort of lumping the two together, even though they're not the same.
Right, and a lot of times they can be caused from similar things, and a lot of that is just indigestion, not having proper digestion in the stomach. So.
It's super common, right?
Yeah, very common. I feel like I see this all the time in my practice. Family members, I mean, people in general, you know, they're popping Tums, they're trying to do something. There's a lot of discomfort when it comes to eating, but if they kind of took the right steps, they would feel a great relief in those areas.
Okay. Do most people know which one they have between the two? Just in general, do they feel different?
Not acid reflux can sometimes be, for some people, it can really go up high. They can kind of feel something in their throat. And heartburn and it can be more tension, tightness.
Gotcha.
So those are some things, some symptoms correlated to them.
And what happens? What basically is the problem that makes it so uncomfortable?
Well, proper digestion requires adequate hydrochloric acid, which is your stomach acid, and also bile from your liver and gallbladder. You need to have adequate amounts of those for that to properly digest your food and move it along its merry way.
Okay.
But a lot of things compromise those levels. Soda, coffee, stress is a big one, and who's not stressed nowadays?
Right.
Over-the-counter prescription medications, lack of sleep, so many things. Foods high in red meats or processed foods, those can affect it.
Yeah, but guys think it's sexy if you eat a steak.
Chow down on a steak.
I mean, I'm talking about like all the time, not just when you're trying to
Okay.
impress that man. You know, over the years, over lifetimes of doing this, what can happen is your stomach acid and your bile production can be quite low. And so when you eat, your food sits in your stomach a little bit longer along with that acid, and you increase the chance of that acid kind of splashing up or putting a little bit more pressure up on, you know, where you're kind of feeling that tightness.
But here's the thing, this is important because I didn't realize this. Having too little acid in your stomach can be just as much of a problem as too much.
Well, and that's what's the cause of it. The food will sit in the stomach longer because there isn't enough. And so it will sit there kind of fermenting rather than chemically digesting. And so that's why some people feel that like distension and bloating and then the acid reflux shortly after. It's because it's sitting in there too long. The stomach acid isn't strong enough. You want like a fairly acidic stomach.
It's like a soda bottle you leave in the car when it's really hot out.
I mean, I guess. In some ways.
How do you test? Is there a way to know if it's too high or too low?
Yes, because for some people it is too high, and that's definitely something that needs to be addressed. So if one thing you can do is before a meal or when you're experiencing heartburn kind of acid reflux feelings, take 1 to 2 tablespoons of unfiltered apple cider vinegar, dilute it in water.
How much water?
You know, I usually say like 6 ounces. It's strong. I mean, acid, if you've ever had apple cider vinegar is like pretty like. Dilute it. If you notice your symptoms decreasing, more often than not, it's associated to low stomach acid.
So you do it while you're having a symptom?
Or before a meal, because a lot of times people won't experience it till after a meal, so rather than ever experiencing it.
So if the symptoms decrease or you feel some relief, it most likely means low stomach acid. Now, if they get worse.
Yeah, if they get worse, if you're having heartburn and you take that and you kind of feel like it got worse or it didn't help, try 1 to 2 teaspoons of baking soda in water and take it, and if that relieves it, you might be looking at a high stomach. Too high of stomach acid.
So how do we reduce it? Because you've got some tips that we can reduce reflux or heartburn, just some simple ways.
So we want to improve digestion, really, that's what we want to do. So we want to eat foods that improve our bile production and our stomach acid, and those two are correlated. They work hand in hand. High stomach acid means better bile.
What's a bile-making food, Maria?
Well, let's talk about that, Tiff. Things like greens and celery, artichokes.
All these.
Beets, green apples, and some people are like, oh, beets gross. But I'm telling you,
I think beets taste like candy.
I've made this raw beet slaw, and people love it. I mean, even just having a couple of spoonfuls, so it's just raw beets shredded with some Dijon mustard and lemon.
What if you get the side knives from beets like I do? Like all of a sudden it's like feels like someone's putting knives in your stomach. Is it just too high in fiber?
Do you chew it really well?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you want to make sure that you're chewing your food, which is also one of the tips. Is properly masticate.
Yep.
I feel like we've talked about masticating in the last few segments, but you want to break down the food so by the time it gets to the stomach, it's easier to digest. You know, people who experience acid reflux and heartburn typically are frequent eaters, eat really fast, eat on the go, eat in the car, don't chew their food. Puts a lot of stress on the stomach, and symptoms start to arise.
You also say hydrate the stomach.
Yeah,
How do we do that?
So people think of water just in terms of hydrating the body, but it's so important with digestion. A dehydrated stomach won't produce adequate stomach acid because water is a buffer. So a large glass, 10 to 12 ounces before your meal, will help prime and prep the stomach for digestion. We just think like, oh, I'm just going to start eating and start plowing food in our mouth. You want to kind of prep the stomach, and this is where coffee comes in. I tell people, don't drink it before your meal, drink it with or after, because coffee dilutes your stomach acid.
You think about like breakfast, you almost always sit and have a little coffee before you eat, so that's a good one to remember, to swap that around.
Quickly, massage your belly.
Yep.
If you actually massage your stomach before getting out of bed or at night when you get in bed, it helps improve digestion.
Yeah, it actually helps in morning bowel movement, which is always a bonus. But it's helping to massage
it out.
It's massaging the sphincters that are associated with your stomach to help kind of exercise those muscles, and again, kind of send the signals to your body that, you know, let's wake up.
So it doesn't matter where, it's anywhere.
Well, it's on each side of your belly button, kind of from your hip upward, and then clockwise.
All right, we're out of time. You already said chew your food a whole bunch, but what's the ginger lemon digestive bitters thing? That's over here.
Yep, this is if you're experiencing heartburn, or these are things I suggest taking prior to a meal. All of these things induce stomach acid. Ginger with a little bit of raw honey to kind of make it a little bit more appetizing. Lemon in water. Swedish or digestive bitters, old age remedy that helps induce stomach acid, or let's say after Thanksgiving you have too much to eat, it's going to help with that discomfort. And apple cider vinegar, I'm telling you, more often than not, people who have heartburn, if they take apple cider vinegar before a meal, it helps their body digest their food better. It helps them feel less heartburn. And typically with apple cider vinegar, it's really alkaline and it can help with blood sugar balancing. You think that's bad? I brought you a shot of apple cider vinegar to
I
taste.
tell you, and my friend swears by this for a flat stomach.
Oh, yeah,
it's good. She's got the flattest stomach I've ever seen.
Whoa, okay.
30 feet.
Let's get the information, because if you should inform your primary physician. Maria notes, if heartburn becomes worse or you've developed a persistent cough. That's serious. If that's the case, you really need to have it checked out by a doctor. If you're also wondering, do you have heartburn or acid reflux, visit your doctor. To find out more information about how to work with Maria, you can go to her website. It's mariavial.com. If you go to mariavial.com/heartburn, you can find out more about all these great foods, because we went through it pretty fast along with those great tips. Great to see you.
Thanks for being here.
I'm waiting for Molly to try it.
It's not good.
It's
not good, but
you're going to be digesting like crazy today. Watch out.